Now I'm on. All right. Good morning. My name is Pam Whitcliffe, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of this congregation. Welcome, everybody. We have a full house. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging. Oh, I know. Okay. Encouraging individual, spiritual, and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. That is our mission statement. If you'd like to learn more about the fellowship, please look at our website at uufe.org and join us after the service for potluck. Yay, that's food. And if you didn't bring any, there's plenty. There'll be plenty, I hope. Because I didn't bring any. I forgot. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask that at this time you please turn off your cell phones. Also, if you need hearing support, please ask for help back at the help desk, at the sound desk. Thank you. Now I have a few things that I do once a month as a president. I give you a board report from our board meeting on Wednesday. And here are a few of the things that we talked about. Several of the board members will be attending a free Elkhart City workshop on April the 9th about safety and security training. And we'll also be checking with Church Mutual Insurance for their recommendations for our church's security, and safety. Jim Scott, our UU troubadour, who has written many of the songs, several of the songs that are in our hymnal, will be here having a concert called The Year to Save the Earth on Saturday, April the 13th, 5:30 p.m. You can purchase the tickets on uufe.org website. $15 in advance, $20 at the door. And if you go to our website, you can read more about his music and about him. UU The Vote has had their launch. You'll be hearing more about it in the future. I signed us up to be a good trouble congregation and to do UU The Vote. There'll be many ways that our congregation can get involved: writing letters and postcards, working at the polls, registering voters at the farmers market, and several other ways. And so we'll be saying more about that in the next bunch of weeks, about UU The Vote. This is a social justice committee thing, and the board supports it. And as you know, this is a vitally important election this year, so hopefully all of us can jump in just a little bit. We need all hands on deck. The committee on the whole is going to have a committee fair on April the 21st. I hope everybody's writing all these dates down. When folks can learn about what each committee does and where they might fit in as a committee member. And today, stewardship call ends today. So to date, we have $51,450 that has been pledged. Please turn in your pledge today for this 24-25 year. After today, TJ Shama and Karen Kripe will be calling all the members who have not returned their pledge. So save them a call and save yourself a call. Turn your pledge in today if you can. Check out the whiteboard that's in the gathering place for any new information there from the committees. And from what we learned not too long ago, membership committee could use some more greeters if anybody would be interested in doing that. Especially me, because I keep forgetting that when my week is. so I don't greet when I should be greeting. It is fun to do. And last note, I do have some other stuff, but yeah, I guess we'll have them talk and then I'll come back. Okay, well, then I'll send you up. One big announcement. Mid-America Regional Assembly is an exciting time to network with and learn from Unitarian Universalists from around the Midwest. The multi-platform regional assembly is April 19th and 20th at the First Unitarian Society of Madison, Wisconsin. Participants may join in person as well as virtually in a unique event that has been held in conjunction with the Pacific West Regional Assembly. As one of the largest in-person gatherings of UUs in 2024, it's expected to have a number of national staff present and taking part. Highlights will be the keynote presentation of the evening on April the 19th, the UUA's new elected president, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, in conversation with the Reverend Dr. Karen Georgia Thompson of the United Church of Christ. I'm getting there. It's just taking me the first time I've read this. A session on the proposed Article 2 revisions and an architectural journey of Frank Lloyd Wright's design meeting house. Terry Mark, who is a Mid-America Region board member, and Annette Long, as well as Pam Wycliffe and Don Wycliffe, will be attending. And it would be great if more of us could go. Those kind of events are really very fun. And you can go to the UUA.org/MidAmerica for more information. And now, the search committee has something that they want to say. Thank you all.
Good morning. It's nice to have a captive audience. So would the search committee please come up? Well, sure. William Becker, Laura Snow, and TJ Shum. Before we get started, we all need to twist in our seats. Come on, everybody twist in your seats. I want you to wake up and shout too. This is fun, and once in a while you got to get out of your comfort zone. And welcome to all our friends. And so here we go. Good morning from the UUFE Search Committee. As I had already introduced, here's the team. Over the past year, we have been working on a couple of things in our search to bring a minister back to the pulpit here at UUFE. Number one, we've defined the needs of the congregation here at UUFE, and we've developed a congregational record for prospective ministers to compare their qualifications with our needs within our system. And there's a hierarchy and all that. I won't bore you with all the UUA stuff. Number two, we worked with the UUA in Boston and the Midwestern UUA offices to explore the trends in the marketplace of Unitarian Universalist fellowships and to develop our message to prospective ministers. We did this with our UUFE congregation in mind. We did this based on the work so many of us did during the post-COVID small group meetings. We did this because we have never lost our love of being in this UU fellowship and driven by the 7 principles guiding our activity as a congregation. So thank you for your effort. And so here is the news. Recently, the search committee interviewed candidates who responded to our congregational record mentioned earlier. From these interviews, we narrowed our selection to one candidate who has accepted our offer to negotiate a contract with us. After discussions with the board, we have decided to pursue a part-time contract minister to serve a 12-month contract. It's simply a matter of money and budgets. The future is ours. Let's see what we can do with it. At this point, there is a lot to do. The name of our candidate is Daniel Miyake, and he lives near Jackson, Michigan. Over the next few weeks, we will develop a plan for meeting the congregation, a pulpit schedule, committee commitments, etc. He brings a lot to the table. Well, this is the short story of our new journey. More exciting news to come. Thank you very much. Okay, twist again.
So good to see all of you here. I guess I'll gong first. We ring the gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will follow and build on the dream. Our chalice lighting this morning is a slightly adapted piece from Sean Trapp. Our chalice reminds us that the fire within ourselves is the same fire that illuminates the universe. It is our reminder that all is connected, even though the space of the void is vast, and our experience here is but a blip in the cosmic timeline. This flame is our promise that in our smallness and our short time on this earth, that we live intently and deeply with love for one another, with honesty and integrity, to be guided by rational thought and critical thinking with a sense of committed shared responsibility. Please join me in speaking our covenant in unison. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. This is the time in our service where we share with each other what's on our hearts, joys and sorrows, accomplishments and concerns, gratitudes, milestones. If you'd like to share, please come up to the microphone, tell us your name so we know you better. Tell us what you'd like to share, and choose a stone or shell from the basket and drop it in the water. You may also do so in silence. And this part of the service will not be taped for Zoom, YouTube.
This song is extremely appropriate for Izzy this morning, but it's a little unfamiliar. We've only sung it about 4 times since I've been here in 8 years, but it moves right along. You don't have much time to breathe, so just follow Lizzie on the piano and we'll get through it. But stand if you're willing and able, and let's sing 343, A Fire, Mist, and a Planet. sense of law and beauty, a distinct from the sun, of evolution, and others call it God, a son of the horizon, the bright winds of pilgrims and parties sailing high, and over high and lowland, but through and drunk. Some people call it autumn, and others call it God. Typewriters, crescent sea breeze, when heaven's and pale, to our hearts their yearnings come, a ringing, surging in, come from the mystic ocean, whose is God. People call it longing, and others call it God. A century long and frozen, a mother's forehead, good taste and hemlock, and Jesus on the road, and millions who nameless, they trust, they condemnation, and others call it God. Thank you.
Every Sunday, we share our loose offering with an organization that shares our values. And this week, we will be giving to the Elkhart County Humane Shelter. May we give generously and receive graciously, for we are giving to each other. It's my pleasure and honor to have Reverend Izzy Harbin with us. Such a, no, oh, sorry. I was doing better earlier, right? Okay. Reverend Izzy Harbin has been with her congregation, the United Church of Christ, for going on 9 years this August. And she's been with us not as often as we would like to have her, but her congregation loves her too, and so many of you are here with us today. We're so glad to have you. She doesn't need much introduction, but we're so grateful to have you, Izzy. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I've really been looking forward to today's service. When Janelle called and said, "So, what's your sermon title?" That's always a challenge. And I said, "How about quantum mechanics?" And she said, what? I said, yeah, quantum mechanics. And she said, well, it's St. Patrick's Day, and you could do something with luck or something like that. And I said, well, I walked her through it, and then we landed on the process of becoming. It's still quantum mechanics. So if you would, I'd like for you to close your eyes for just a second. I'd like for you to imagine total darkness of the cosmos before light even existed. Imagine that you are hovering over a mass of swirling chaos without direction or purpose. Then imagine that suddenly the universe explodes all around you. The swirling chaos begins to coalesce into something recognizable. Where there was no light, now there is light. And for billions of years, the cosmos is in a constant state of expanding and creating all that we can now see in the night sky. Now imagine that our solar system has come into existence. Our planet has been formed. Land masses appear amidst the water. Rain falls. The sun warms the planet. And single-celled organisms emerge amongst it all. Fast forward 4.5 billion years, and here we are, all sitting together as people of the ever-unfolding process of becoming. You can open your eyes. So what did you notice? In those few seconds, we traveled from the beginning of time as we understand time to the present day. In our minds, we can scarcely imagine all that has taken place over the last 13 plus billion years since the beginning of the cosmos. Even now, as we gaze upon pictures coming to us from the James Webb Telescope, it is difficult to make any concrete claims about how it all began and where it is all going. For thousands of years, people have been gazing up at the stars and imagining what it is like out there while wrestling with what it means to be human. In 1929, Alfred North Whitehead wrote a book entitled Process and Reality that began to articulate a theology that mirrored the scientific discoveries of what is now called quantum mechanics. In the world of quantum mechanics, scientists were providing the world with new understandings in the study of matter, how a substance takes up space and has mass. Their understanding of matter was changing how we see the world around us. Scientists began to imagine that the universe was made up of events, not things, and that all these events were relational. They defied our present understanding of matter, that matter was fixed and unchanging, immutable even. Scientists discovered that their assumptions about matter were incorrect. Now we are looking at two stories of reality. We have this macro view that told us the following, that the cosmos consisted of separate, static objects. The cosmos is deterministic, governed by the laws of cause and effect, and it lacked free will. Only matter and uncertain behaviors are living, exhibiting any kind of choice. But the micro view told a different story. Told us that the cosmos is interconnected, that it's impermanent. The cosmos is indeterministic and probabilistic, governed by quantum mechanics and the use of free will. We have free will. And that particles seem to exhibit rudimentary choice. So what do we do with this new understanding of what we are observing in the natural world? Well, what anyone in the 20th century would do with scientific discoveries, attempt to put theological terms around it. This is what we do. For once, I'm grateful that theologians attach themselves to this new scientific way of seeing the world, because it has given us a whole new way of understanding our own process of becoming. At the moment of the Big Bang, or divine spark, or whatever you'd like to call it, the process of becoming became a reality. The strange coalescing of chaos ordered the cosmos. We are swimming in that process. We are fully immersed in it, and this process continually moves everything toward greater complexity and diversity, as well as greater unity and order, all at the same time. When I first heard this axiom, greater complexity and diversity, greater unity and order, I began to test this hypothesis in my own feeble way. You know, I'm no scientist, but I do remember studying elementary particles, which include quarks and leptons and bosons. Y'all remember that from science class? Yeah, and from there we move up to protons, neutrons, and electrons, right? Which are the building blocks of atoms. Wow, when we combine two or more atoms, we get a molecule. Molecules create elements, and elements create all living things. From this model, we can definitely see how our cosmos has moved from swirling potential to the organization of the chaos into greater complexity, diversity, unity, and order. But it really doesn't stop there. I marvel at the sheer number of varieties of things. The cosmos didn't just produce one type of pine tree. No. There are 187 species of pine trees. There are approximately 5,000 varieties of peppers in the world. There are more than 120,000 varieties of rice in the world. If this isn't complexity, diversity, unity, and order, I don't know what is. This does attest to the physical world around us, but what about how we live? What about our internal structures, the way we think and behave? To most of us, this would also be self-evident, I think. For as many people that exist on the planet, approximately 8.1 billion, there are that many differing opinions about all kinds of things. No two people function exactly the same. And yet, we organize ourselves around shared principles, values, and interests while still allowing for those differing opinions. Even when we talk about the development of religions throughout history, we typically only focus on the top 5. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism. I'll throw Buddhism in there, even though we typically see it as a philosophy. But still, if you were to name them, those are your top 5. What most folks don't know, though, is that there are over 2,000 living religions. 2,000. Since the dawn of time, humanity has searched for ways to make meaning of our existence. This meaning-making process is what we now call religion. It is this weird combination of our physical world, our mental faculties, and the mysteries of the universe that propel us to live the way we live. Perhaps the most important aspect of life comes down to our ability to organize ourselves into communities. We have learned through trial and error that communal organization centered on mutual cooperation typically works to everyone's advantage. And yet we still witness horrible conflict within ourselves and in the world. This too is part of the process of becoming. We have not arrived at our end result. We are not fully actualized into the beings that we could be given the best case scenarios. This is a fundamental part of the process of becoming. Life was never meant to be perfect. It was never meant to be free from horror and trauma. Ultimately, it is all of the imperfections in life that shape us into the beings that we are and are becoming. Sadly, as individuals, we tend to isolate ourselves from the collective, believing that we must carry our burdens alone. What the process of becoming reminds us, though, is that we're not alone. We are part of the interconnectedness of all living things and derive strength from the whole of creation. Whether it is in nature or in your group of friends or in a steaming hot cup of coffee, our connection to the world around us matters in our own process of becoming. The choices that we make every single day affect how we grow and are transformed by the cosmos. Our choices ripple out and impact our whole process of becoming. Therefore, when we entreat people to lead with compassion, it isn't just because that is a kind and wonderful way to be, but it is because it impacts the cosmos in a positive way. The more compassionate we become toward the interconnected web of all life, the less horror and trauma will be produced. It is difficult to fathom that our world could exist without horror and trauma, but I believe it's possible. The cosmos continually lures and invites us to make good and right choices that are beneficial to all life. When we make optimal choices, the cosmos not only benefits, but thrives. As we continue to journey in a sea of becomingness, we have an opportunity to influence everything for the better. Even more profound is that our process of becoming is connected to every other process of becoming. That is the nature of the cosmos. Where it will end, no one knows. But perhaps what we are all journeying toward is a unified oneness built of complexity, diversity, and order. May it be so.
Oh, we have time for some feedback, questions, observations. I thank you for your clarification of Buddhism as a philosophy you're teaching.
Yes.
13 million years and 10 minutes, great.
Yes. Yes.
Dwight, did you have something, Dwight?
Well, I will then. I think UUism should be in the top 5.
Yeah.
But that's just me
I
and the
would
rest of the
agree.
UUs.
I had a list of 15 actually, and it was number 6.
Good save.
But I was thinking of time and energy and effort and whittled it down to 5.
Jimmy?
I just want to tell you it's one of the best sermons I've heard in many years.
Thank you.
And he preaches a lot. I would agree, Jimmy. William?
Thank you, Izzy. That was very uplifting. A former member, now deceased, his name was Harvey, was in the hospital in Niles, and I went to visit him. And this is years ago. We had a wonderful conversation, and somehow he said something about quantum mechanics. He had a large mind. I said, I really don't know much about that at all, or quantum math. He said, I can explain it very simply. He said, if something happens here in Niles that is earth-shattering, it is felt all the way around the world.
Lori?
That man over there was saying about it being a good sermon, and I agree. And I would like to have a written copy that I could have and read again occasionally at home. Is that possible?
Yes. Yes, it
Thank
is.
you.
Oksana?
going back to William's conversation with Harvey Lawrence, we loved Harvey. He was just a brilliant guy. And he said if something earth-shattering happens in Niles, it doesn't even have to be that. It's the butterfly effect. If a butterfly flaps its wings, somewhere it affects something. So that's all I had to say.
Can be translated as everything matters. Ken?
I read, I've been reading for a long time, a lot of the physicists and philosophers about quantum mechanics. One of the greatest lines I remember was by Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman was probably the smartest 20th century physicist ever. And one of his comments was, if you think you know about quantum physics, you don't know about quantum physics.
That's a relief. I thought I saw a hand. Yes, Mary.
I just wanted to suggest that rather than journeying toward this experience of oneness with its mix of complexity and diversity, that we're actually already in it.
We are.
And we simply need to alter our perceptions.
Right. Yeah, and you know, it's interesting that you say that about the word journey. I tend to use the word journey a little different than most people, because I feel like we're swimming in it now. We're fully immersed in it now. And so the journey for me is from second to second to second experiencing that immersion, right? That way of seeing the world differently. It's, it's not so much about the destination. It's not about one day we'll arrive. It's about right here, right now, this moment.
Sometimes it's about how to be here in this moment.
Right, exactly.
Who wants the last word?
I'm still sitting here, my name's Emily, just absorbing. And because you put into words something that I had felt and known, and well, it takes me back to my hippie days too, with the be here now. And the whole thing seems to come down to really being awake and being aware in any way possible. Yeah, and thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Great last word. Steve is going to lead us in our final hymn. Then please remain standing for the benediction and remain seated for the postlude. We've just chosen especially for today.
There are 5 verses to this. I assume she's playing all 5. I didn't see the tape ahead of time, but stand if you're willing and able. If she cuts us off at 3, we'll stop singing. Number 301, touch the earth and reach the sky. Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, the faith quest to understand.
So this morning, I would just like to say, go in peace, to love and live and become. Amen.